Good morning, everyone. My name is Jomad Sani Maniago, and within this session, I will discuss theories of management. Let's first start with the first management theory, which is scientific management. This theory focuses on improving efficiency and productivity by going through systematic measurement, analysis, and control. This was developed by Frederick Taylor in the late 19th and early 20th century. It applies to various industries and organizations, and one of them being education. Scientific management can be used to design and implement standardized curricula, tests, methods of instructions, as well as to monitor and evaluate the performance of teachers and students. One of the caveats of this management theory is that it ignores human and social aspects of education, such as creativity, motivation, and diversity, because it standardizes things way too much by implementing tests and having rubrics and such. And then the next management theory is a direct contrast to scientific management. This one now focuses on human relations. This emphasizes the importance of interpersonal relationships, communication, and cooperation in achieving organizational goals. This was influenced by Horton studies in 1920s and 1930s, which showed that workers' productivity and satisfaction were affected by social and psychological factors such as group norms, leadership styles, and feedback. In education, this can be used to foster a positive school climate and democratic decision-making process by collaborating with everybody's needs based on the learning environment. Though one of its caveats being that it's a bit too idealistic. It's hard to create a system that's made for everyone's needs, so we have to make a compromise, basically being the problem with this management system. The systems theory is an organization, it views an organization as a complex and dynamic system of interrelated and interdependent elements such as goals, inputs, outputs, feedback, and environment. This was made by Ludwig von Bertalanffy in 1940s and 1950s and applied to various disciplines and fields. In education, this can be used to understand and improve the functioning and performance of an education system at different levels, such as classrooms, the schools, the district, or even the nation. It can help solve problems as well and adapt to change and coordinate with other systems. Though the problem being this system is a little too complicated and deterministic. It's a bit too abstract. Not everyone could handle or take in the information given and processed by this management system. And the last one is a wonderful combination of all the three systems. This is the contingency theory. It suggests that there is no one best way to manage an organization. So the first three being good, but not always applicable to every system, but rather an optimal management system depending on the situation and the context. This was influenced by Fred Fiedler, Paul Lawrence, and Jay Loesch, and the others in 1960s and 1970s. In education, this theory can be used to adopt and adjust different management approaches and strategies according to the characteristics and needs of teachers, students, curriculum, resources, goals, and environment. It can also help to cope with uncertain complexities and diversities. However, as the issue with the first three theories, this goes through the same problems, which is it is ambiguous, it is opportunistic, and inconsistent. Now, we're done with the management theories. We can now focus with Fayol's 14 principles. Sorry. There's another slide. It's called transformational leadership. This theory describes a type of leadership that inspires and motivates followers to achieve higher levels of performance and commitment by appealing to their values, visions, and emotions. It was developed by MacGregor Burns in 1970s and further refined by Bernard Bass and others in 1980s and 1990s. In education, transformational leadership can be used to create and communicate a shared vision, foster a culture of innovation and excellence, empower and develop teachers and students, and build trust and collaboration. Some critics argue that transformational leadership can be a bit too charismatic, unrealistic, and unethical. Basically, this system focuses on inspiring its individuals to go through the work they have to go through. But as mentioned earlier, the problem with it is that it's a bit too charismatic and unrealistic. Let's focus now. There we go. Henry Fayol's 14 Principles of Management. Let's first start off with Henry Fayol. He is the father of modern management theory. He introduced a general theory that can be applied to all levels of management in every department. He also envisioned maximizing managerial efficiency. Today, his theory is being used by management and organization to regulate internal activities of an organization. The first part of his theory is division of work. Segregating work in the workforce amongst workers will enhance the quality of the product. Concludes that division of work improves the productivity, efficiency, accuracy, and the speed of the workers. This principle is appropriate for both managerial and well as technical work levels. Basically, properly dividing workload to each individual so that it can be handled properly, because humans have limits. You give someone a bit too much work that is a bit too complicated, then the work that they will work on, well, the output that you will get from the work that they will do will be less than ideal, say the least. Next is authority and responsibility. Authority facilitates the management to work efficiently, and responsibility makes them responsible for the work done under their guidance and leadership. Basically, authority makes sure the work is done correctly. Responsibility makes sure that there is it makes sure that these things are made responsible for the work done under the guidance of leadership. Basically, this focuses on making sure that all workers work accordingly based on what is stipulated by leadership. Next is discipline. Without discipline, nothing can be accomplished. This core value for any project or any management. Good performance and sensible interrelation make the management job easy and comprehensive. Employees' good behavior also helps them smoothly build and progress in their professional careers. It is very essential for each individual within an organization to have a lot of work discipline, because without it, it will lead to a very sloppy piece of work. Unity of command. It is as it says, an employee should have one boss and one boss only. Any more than one might lead to a lot of confusion and conflict of interest. Unity of direction. This one is also correlated to the one mentioned earlier. Employees, whoever are engaged in the same activity, should have a unified goal. This means all the people working in a company should have one goal and motive, which will make the work easier and achieve the set of goals easily. Basically, every individual within a certain task should be doing the same thing in order to achieve that task. If people are doing different things with different end results, it might just end with a poorly made result. Subordination of individual interests. A company should work unitedly towards the interests of a company rather than personal interests. Be subordinate to the purposes of the organization refers to the chain of command in a company. This also goes as it says, basically forces everyone to be professional and not to bring personal ties within the goals of the company. When you're given a work, do said work, and do not bring anything unrelated to said work, because it is very unprofessional to do such a thing. Remuneration. It plays an important role in motivating the workers of a company. It can be both monetary and non-monetary. Ideally, it should be according to an individual's efforts that they had put forth. So, what is remuneration? It basically is compensation, how an individual is paid for the work they do. And it can be both through benefits and through salary, money. But what's important is that it's given to them adequately, based on the amount of work they do. We can't just allow someone to work a lot but also be underpaid, and vice versa. We can't have anyone not even working to begin with to be paid handsomely. Centralization. The management or any authority responsible for the decision making process should be neutral. This depends on the size of an organization, but Henry Fayol stressed on the point that there should be a balance between hierarchy and division of power. Basically, this method, this part of the principle, this is some sort of top to bottom approach where decision making processes are handled by upper management as opposed to non centralized managements where it is divided throughout some sort of survey gathering decision making, where everyone gets to decide what is the company's goals. Here, in centralization, it revolves around how goals are set up by upper management and the ways to attain such goals are also stipulated by them. Hence the word centralization. Next is the scalar chain. The hierarchy step should be from top to the lowest. This is necessary so that every employee knows their immediate senior also should be able to contact any if needed. So the scalar chain is like one straight line from management to executionary level, like employee level positions. And information should be processed from management all the way down to the employee level. So let's say the president passes information to the vice president passes it to the supervisor, no, to the SOM. The SOM passes it to the operations manager. The operations manager passes it to the supervisor, and the supervisor passes it to the employees. Next is order. A company should maintain a well-defined work order to have a favorable work culture and a positive atmosphere in the workplace, as it will boost a positive productivity. It is important to have order and avoid anarchy within the workplace, as it also affects working conditions. It affects the working morale of each individual. Equity. All the employees should be treated equally and respectfully. It is the responsibility of a manager that no employees face discrimination. Again, there's also focuses on the safety of each individual within the organization, making sure that they don't feel like they're getting left out. Stability. An employee delivers the best if they feel secure in their job. It is the duty of the management to offer job security to their employees. Basically, it is important to make your workers or employees feel reassured that they would not lose their job. Because if you make them feel like they're going to lose their job at any time, then they would lose the motivation to work. And that will affect the company big time. Initiative. The management should support and encourage the employees to take initiatives in an organization, as it will help them increase their motivation and morale. And the last is esprit de corps. It is the responsibility of the management to motivate their employees and be supportive of each regularly. Developing trust and mutual understanding will lead to a positive outcome and work environment. Basically, it gives the employees a feeling of loyalty and pride that is shared within the members of the group, who consider themselves different from other people in some special way. Basically, a smaller version of nationalism. And that concludes my report. Thank you for listening. You all have a wonderful day.